Joola makes paddles for literally every type of pickleball player, from someone stepping onto a court for the very first time, all the way up to the #1 ranked professional in the world. The difference between choosing the right one and the wrong one can completely change how the game feels. Here are the 5 best Joola pickleball paddles worth picking up right now. The Joola Ben Johns Perseus Pro 416mm remains one of the most impressive paddles available, even though a newer generation now sits above it. Joola kept the Pro 4 in their active lineup at a lower cost after the Pro 5 launched, and for a significant number of players, it could end up being the better fit. The core technology here is called TechFlex Power, and it works differently than the kinetic frame found in the Pro V. High-density foam is placed in the bottom corners and throat area, which narrows the internal honeycomb channel and allows the entire paddle to flex more on contact. That additional flex translates directly into pop and responsiveness. The difference in feel is immediately noticeable when comparing the 2 generations side by side. The Pro 4 delivers more instant power and what players often describe as free offense. Serves launch off the face with impressive speed. Third shot drives carry heavy pace. Overhead putaways feel explosive and decisive. Where the Pro 5 asks players to generate their own momentum through swing speed, the Pro 4 meets them halfway by adding energy back into every shot. The textured carbon fiber face produces strong spin, and the hyperfoam edge wall extends the effective sweet spot across a generous portion of the hitting surface. The same elongated Perseus shape measures 16.5 inches long with a 5.5-inch handle, so the reach and leverage are identical to the Pro V. For players moving up from a mid-range paddle into their first premium option, the Pro 4 represents an outstanding entry point into elite-level performance. The forgiveness on mishits is generous enough that developing players will not feel punished for imperfect contact, while the raw power output is high enough to keep up with the most competitive recreational and tournament environments. It holds both USAP and UPAA certification, and with the reduced cost compared to the Pro V, it delivers arguably the best overall value in the premium Joola tier right now. The Joola Essentials Pickleball Paddle proves that getting into the sport with a quality paddle does not require spending hundreds of dollars. At a fraction of the cost of the models above, the Essentials delivers a surprisingly capable playing experience that outperforms virtually every generic budget option on the market. The face uses reinforced fiberglass layers rather than carbon fiber, which creates a slightly softer feel on contact and produces easy, accessible power that beginners will appreciate from their very first session. Underneath the surface, the 12mm Response honeycomb polymer core provides a poppy, responsive feel that sends the ball off the face with satisfying energy. That core uses the same polymer material found in Joola's professional-grade paddles, just in a thinner configuration. That thinner profile compared to the 16mm models higher in the lineup means faster energy transfer on contact, which makes it easier for newer players to get the ball over the net and keep rallies going without needing a fully developed swing. The sweet spot is generous and forgiving, so off-center hits still travel in the intended direction rather than sailing wide or dumping into the net. The edge guard wraps around the perimeter to protect against ground strikes and accidental dings, adding durability that cheaper paddles simply cannot match. At roughly 15.5 inches long and 7.9 inches wide, the standard shape provides a familiar paddle profile that feels comfortable from the very first time it is picked up. Joola offers the Essentials both as an individual paddle and as a complete set that includes 2 paddles, outdoor balls, and a carry bag. The set option makes it incredibly easy to get 2 people playing immediately without hunting down accessories separately. The paddle carries USAP approval for tournament play, which means it is not just a casual backyard option. Players who catch the pickleball bug and start entering local events can bring this paddle to the court with full confidence that it meets official standards. For anyone just beginning their pickleball journey or shopping for a gift that introduces someone to the sport the right way, the Essentials stands out as the smartest starting point in the entire Joola catalog. As skills develop and competitive ambitions grow, upgrading to one of the higher-tier options on this list becomes a natural next step. But plenty of players have discovered that this paddle holds its own far longer than they expected. The Joola Ben Johns Hyperion CFS 16mm is the paddle that started it all for Joola in pickleball, and even though newer generations have launched since, this one still holds its own against paddles that cost twice as much. When Joola signed Ben Johns and built this paddle around his exact specifications, the entire industry took notice. The Hyperion CFS was the first paddle to feature Joola's carbon friction surface, a proprietary Carbon Flex 5 textured face that creates high grit directly within the carbon fiber itself rather than spraying texture on top. That distinction matters because the spin potential lasts significantly longer than surface-sprayed alternatives, keeping shot-shaping ability consistent over months of play rather than fading after a few weeks. The Aero Curve elongated shape measures 16.5 inches long and 7.5 inches wide, with a distinctive curved head that cuts through the air with less resistance than flat-top designs. At around 8.4 ounces, it runs heavier than most of the newer models, and the weight distribution leans head-heavy. That extra mass toward the top of the paddle adds real authority to drives, serves, and overhead putaways. The 5.5-inch carbon-forged handle is another standout detail. Joola stopped the polymer core at the throat and connected a purpose-built carbon handle, which serves two functions. It gives the grip an ergonomic, natural feel in the hand, and it introduces flex at the throat that adds power on every shot without requiring a bigger swing. Underneath the surface, the reactive polypropylene honeycomb core minimizes vibration and provides a consistent, predictable bounce no matter where the ball makes contact. The Hyperfoam Edge wall injects specialized foam into the perimeter, widening the sweet spot so that even shots struck closer to the edge still carry accuracy and pace. Dinks feel plush and controlled, while full-swing drives explode off the face with surprising speed. The combination of spin, power, and touch makes the Hyperion CFS one of the most well-rounded paddles Joola has ever produced. Now that newer flagship models have taken the spotlight, this paddle sits at a dramatically reduced cost compared to its original retail, which makes it one of the strongest values in the entire Joola lineup. For intermediate players looking for a serious performance upgrade or advancing beginners ready to commit to a paddle that will grow with their game for years, the Hyperion CFS delivers far more than its current price tag suggests. It is USAP approved for tournament play. The Joola Perseus 3S Dual 16mm occupies a space that a lot of players have been asking about, and that is serious competitive performance without crossing into the highest cost bracket. The 3S line was Joola's third generation of professional paddle technology, and the dual version has been updated to carry certifications from both UPA-A and USA PPBC OR.43. That dual certification means the paddle is approved for every sanctioned tournament format, which removes the guesswork about whether it can be used in a particular event. The Perseus 3S Dual uses the same beloved elongated shape at 16.5 inches long and carries a propulsion core that blends a honeycomb center with a foam perimeter. That combination produces clean, crisp contact with a slightly poppier feel compared to the Pro 4. The ball comes off the charged carbon surface with noticeable energy return and solid feedback, so each shot feels connected rather than distant or mushy. Spin generation is particularly strong thanks to the gritty carbon texture, and players who rely on topspin drives and heavy spin serves will appreciate how much bite the surface provides. At around 8.0 ounces with a 5.5-inch handle, it feels balanced and familiar in the hand for anyone already accustomed to the Perseus shape. Several PPA Tour professionals, including John Lucian Goins, have competed with the 3S Dual and praised how precise each hit feels, allowing them to focus entirely on placement rather than worrying about paddle response. Where the 3S Dual truly earns its place on this list is in the way it closes the gap between mid-range and premium performance. The core responds well to both full swings and compact volleys, and the foam perimeter extends the sweet spot enough that off-center contact does not result in a complete mishit. Drives carry meaningful pace, drops have enough touch to land softly, and blocks at the kitchen absorb enough pace to stay controlled. Players competing at the 3.5 to 4.5 level who want a paddle that can genuinely keep up with the more expensive options in the Joola family will find the 3S Dual punches well above what its position in the lineup might suggest. It is also an excellent choice for tournament players who go through paddles frequently and want reliable pro-level construction without replacing a top-dollar model every few months. The Joola Ben Johns Perseus Pro V 16mm sits at the very top of the lineup, and it is the paddle that the highest-ranked player in the sport takes into every match. Released in early 2026, this is Joola's fifth generation of professional-level technology, and the headline feature is something called the kinetic frame. Built directly into the throat of the paddle, the kinetic frame was designed using principles borrowed from kickpoint engineering found in hockey sticks and golf clubs. When the ball makes contact, the frame flexes to store energy and then snaps back to release it, creating a type of power that feels deliberate and connected rather than wild and unpredictable. The elongated shape measures 16.5 inches long and 7.5 inches wide, giving it excellent reach and leverage on full swings. It weighs roughly 8.1 ounces with a 5.5-inch handle that accommodates two-handed backhands comfortably. The textured carbon fiber face grabs the ball on contact and generates impressive spin, while the honeycomb propulsion core underneath provides a solid, muted response rather than the hollow ping of older paddle designs. Around the perimeter, the hyperfoam edge wall expands the sweet spot and stabilizes off-center shots so they still land with consistency. Where the Perseus Pro V separates itself from everything else is the way it handles touch shots in the transition zone. Resets from mid-court feel smooth because the ball absorbs into the face before redirecting softly into the kitchen. Drives from the baseline carry serious pace without requiring a massive wind-up, and counters at the net feel controlled even during high-speed exchanges. This is not a paddle that hands out free power, though. It rewards players who bring their own swing speed and clean mechanics, which is why it pairs best with advanced competitors who want their equipment to amplify precision rather than compensate for inconsistency. It carries both USAP and UPAA certification for sanctioned tournament play at every level. Both a 16mm version for more control and a 14mm version for extra pop are available, so players can fine-tune the thickness to match how aggressive they want to be on the court. Whether the right move is going all in on the top-shelf model or starting with something more budget-friendly and working up from there, which option fits where the game is right now? Let us know in the comments below.